Hello and welcome back to my channel. We're gonna try something a little bit different outside, so hopefully you can hear me. So there's a lot of stuff and a lot of topics that I want to go over and discuss, like, chromotherapy, which is therapy with light and colors. But first, I need to break down the basics of physics for you, remind you maybe if you already know, because that'll lead you to that point. It's hard for me to just throw out there, color therapy and for you to get on board if you don't know the science kind of this universe. So I'm gonna help build you up to the topics that we're going to. We're eventually gonna land on, deeper diving into the tarot cards. We're gonna do numerology, we're gonna do astrology, right? But I kind of want to lead you there with science. So make it a little more modern, a little bit easier for you to grasp onto, right? So the first thing you need to know about light and color is that color is a property of light, and light is a form of energy. And if you've seen any of my previous videos, you know that everything is energy, right? Everything is vibration, everything is energy. So light behaves like a wave, and as a result of this, light can be defined and measured by its wavelength and its frequency, right? So with our eyes, we can only see in a certain range of wavelengths, right? And this is called the visible spectrum. In general, there is a big electromagnetic spectrum, but it's not limited to the visible spectrum, meaning that there are a wide range of light waves that we cannot see with our naked eye, essentially. So there's radio waves, there's microwaves, there's infrared rays, there's X-rays, right? So, think about the wind. You can't see the wind blowing, you can't physically see the wind, but you can see the effects of the wind. You can see the leaves blowing, you can see the trees moving, you can see, whatever, right? So what we are seeing when we see an object is we're seeing reflected light. So when light hits an object, some wavelengths are absorbed and some are reflected off the object. So depending on the type of matter that you're viewing, depending on the type of matter basically that it comes into contact with, light will behave differently depending on what it is. So light passes directly through, objects like glass, water, stuff like that. But if it's a little more dense, such as like a book or something, it reflects the light back to you. So more translucent objects scatter the light. So in physics, light is a type of electromagnetic radiation that is visible to our eye. So light has a unique property that it can be described as both a wavelength and a stream of particles, called photons, actually. Good old photons. So one of the most important wave-like behaviors, basically, of light is reflection. We know that we're seeing reflected light when we see colors. It is the reflected light that we see with our eyes, and how light reflects off objects, is the colors we see. But when a light wave strikes a new object, some of the wave will bounce off the surface. And how reflective the surface is will determine how light and what wavelength of light will be reflected and how much will be absorbed and transmitted, right? So when we see something, our eyes are taking in light and images and turning them into electromagnetic impulses that our brain can actually understand, like little messages, right? So what we are seeing is light rays that bounce off objects and reflect back into our eyes. So I cannot stress that enough. So this pen right here, I'm seeing the color pink because there is light that is bouncing off this object and reflecting back into my eyes. So that's just how light works. That's how colors work. I'm gonna get into a little bit, but I wanted to keep this video nice and short. I'm gonna do another video on how our eyes interpret that light that is reflected back to us. So this is all important, guys. This is all how physics works. So I'm gonna end the video, but I hope you all have an amazing day, and mwah.